Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our webinar, How to Make the Most out of an Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs Exchange. My name is Thomas Berger. I'm the network manager of the OpenEye network, a network of local contact points for the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. I'm here from Fulda in Germany, and I'm very happy that my colleague Simon Opitz joined me today, and Maurizio Ghisolfi, who I learned is from Italy, but located in Luxembourg, but he will explain later as a successful participant of the program. I will have a little introduction to the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs in the beginning before we hear from Maurizio about his experiences with the programs and what he can give you as an advice if you plan to participate or if you are participating at the moment and want to make the most out of it. All right, then let me share some slides for the start. And I will give a little insight what Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs is about, just that we are all on the same page, because this is the program we speak about today. And you hear the name Erasmus in the title, so Erasmus is about exchange, but the big difference to the other very popular Erasmus program is that in Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs, we speak about the exchange between entrepreneurs. And when we say exchange, we mean business exchange. So that a new entrepreneur, somebody starting the company, gets in touch with an experienced entrepreneur in a different country to do business together, to learn from each other, and to have what we call a win-win situation together. And when we speak about exchange, we always speak about exchanges between 1 and 6 months. However, Erasmus for Entrepreneurs is very flexible. If you need to interrupt a stay, this is possible within a period of 12 months so that you can get in touch with your clients or your investors or whatever you need if you cannot stay for a very long time abroad with another entrepreneur. And also depending on the time schedules of both entrepreneurs. So there is a lot of flexibility to arrange the best for both. And when we speak about entrepreneurs who participate, of course, we speak about European entrepreneurs, but this includes also countries outside the European Union. You see the list. And what we expect from people is not the nationality, but that people start a business in one of the 27 countries participating in the program. And we are open for all business sectors. So if it's IT, if it's green, if it's social, if it's NGOs, so all sectors are welcome and all ages are welcome. So maybe Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs is sometimes misleading regarding the age of the participants. No, it's about the age of the company. I will come to that in a second, but participants, so long they are 18 and can participate with any age they have, because what's important is the age of the company. So if you are participating as a new entrepreneur, your company or your entrepreneurial experience should be less than 3 years. So long it's less than 3 years, you are regarded as a new or young company in the meaning of the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. So your company can exist already, or if it doesn't exist yet, you need to have a solid business idea documented in a business plan. So this will be your entry point to the program as a new entrepreneur. And as a host entrepreneur, it's the other side of the coin. That means you have to have at least 3 years of entrepreneurial experience. You have to have, of course, a company. You have to be an owner or co-owner of it. And your company should be a small and medium-sized enterprise. We don't expect that people of bigger companies really have the time to engage in the program, but it's also a requirement of the EU program. So that entrepreneurs or small and medium-sized enterprises can be host entrepreneurs of the program. Yes, and what are the other actors? organizations such as us. Here, the University of Fulda is my organization, and we are an intermediary organization. It means a local or regional contact point for those who want to apply for the program in Germany, just as an example. And Maurizio has a contact point in Italy for his participation. And so in all the 27 countries, or most of them, you will find contact points which are your, as they say, contact point as a host or as a new entrepreneur if you want to participate in the program. And we all, of course, are collaborating with the European Commission, which is represented by the so-called support office in Brussels, which is, let's say, the central point of contact in case of doubts and in case of any questions which go beyond what we can answer. Yes, and why should somebody participate? Let's see the new entrepreneur side first. Of course, the program provides you a unique opportunity to get first-hand experience from an experienced host entrepreneurs, all the business knowledge, all the contacts which you can share with the host entrepreneur. Of course, there's also a financial support from the program, which is a contribution to your travel and accommodation costs abroad. And from the host entrepreneur side, why would a host participate in the program? Most of our hosts say, well, they look for fresh ideas, something a person from outside can better bring in the company than if you have somebody inside working already for a long time with the host. So this fresh, new perspective, new ideas, maybe also from another sector or from another background, this can give a push to company development. Of course, also the contacts a new entrepreneur brings from the country, especially if the host wants to make business with the original country the new entrepreneur comes from, is something also, or investment opportunities. So there are a number of opportunities also from the host side, why people participate in the program. Yes, in the end, what we want to encourage and what we want to support is what I mentioned at the beginning, a win-win situation for both. So there must be something in for new and host entrepreneurs in order to establish business exchanges with the program. And what is important for us is there is not an employment or internship situation, and this is a big difference, let's say, to the other Erasmus programs for students. It is really a business program. So on this same eye level, two entrepreneurs, one new, one experienced, make business with each other and benefit from each other. This is the idea and what we want to support with the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. Well, in practice, it's very easy to participate. There is a central IT tool, the Erasmus for Entrepreneurs website, where all people can register. And within the registration, you need, of course, your curriculum vitae, you need your motivation, and as a new entrepreneur, the business plan, which shows your solid business idea. And then you select one of the contact points. In Germany, you could select us here in Fulda. But there are a lot of contact points in all most of the participating countries, which will then check your application and will help you with the next steps in the program. And one of the important steps is to find your counterpart. As a new entrepreneur, find your host entrepreneur or vice versa. And there is an IT tool, a matchmaking database, which can help you with that. But of course, you can also use all your other contacts to get in touch with potential counterpart entrepreneurs. The only thing is that your counterpart entrepreneur needs to be registered in the database so that in the end, there can be an electronic matchmaking facilitated by the program. Well, and in the end, there will be a business exchange, as I said, minimum 1, maximum 6 months with potential interruptions. And in the end, of course, there's always a little feedback report. and some final things to do. And during all the stay abroad, what you receive from us, from the OpenEye network, is an online coaching, which helps you also to make sure that you achieve your goals with the participation in the program, especially as a new entrepreneur, something the contact points offer, which are part of the OpenEye network. Yes, I mentioned financial support. This is the grant a new entrepreneur receives when he goes abroad, as I said, as a contribution to the extra cost regarding a stay abroad. The good news is that you see here the grant amounts which are still valid today, but from next week, from June on, there will be an increase of grants. So on average, 10–15% extra, depending on the country, is something you can expect very soon. But these are, let's say, from this week still the amounts available as a monthly grant. Okay, yeah, as I said, applying is pretty easy. There is a website available and with a CV and with your ideas why you would like to participate in the program. And as a new entrepreneur with a business plan, you can enter the program choosing one of the contact points available. Yeah, there is no real deadline, but of course, the sooner you try, the better are your chances that funding is available and that you had also the time to prepare your exchanges. I also remind you that there's no age limit. You should be 18, but Erasmus is for all ages. So it's the age of the company which refers to young entrepreneurs, not the age of the entrepreneur. And of course, we are open to all sectors and have worked together with entrepreneurs from every area you can imagine. So long there is this win-win situation between a new and a host entrepreneur from different countries. All right, and what we celebrate this year, and also as a reason to start this webinar series, is the 15th anniversary of the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. So this is since 2009, and also our contact point and our network has worked for the program for those 15 years, which we are able to celebrate this year. And I'm going to go in all numbers. Maybe the big number and achievement I would like to mention is that by now 12,000 relationships existed. That means 12,000 business exchanges involving 24,000 entrepreneurs have taken place in the last 15 years. So these are the people benefiting from the program and establishing those win-win situations over the last years. You see the other numbers on the slide. So this is as a remarkable program and a remarkable numbers. Yes, when we speak about achievements, you see here actually also the political reason why the European Union has created these programs and also invests in these programs and in these supports. So it's all about supporting the internal market for small and medium-sized enterprises, to support entrepreneurship in Europe, also as an opportunity for those in those countries which face youth unemployment. So to see entrepreneurship is also an alternative way for people to develop, and of course to support the creation of new businesses, the expansion of existing businesses, if possible even beyond borders, and also the contribution to green and digital transformation, so that as we encourage especially business models and ideas which have the sustainability or digital aspects in mind. Well, what we are most proud of course, are entrepreneurs who share their experiences. You find them on the website of the Erasmus for Entrepreneurs program. Also, we have on our OpenEye website of our network collected a big number of experience reports from all sectors and areas you can imagine. And of course, this is also the reason why we invited Maurizio today, because there's nothing better than to have first-hand advice and first-hand experiences from people actually participating in the program or having participated in the program. Yes, finally, just 2 hints. The central website is erasmus-entrepreneurs.eu. Here you can apply. Here you find further guidelines and experience reports. And for the network, we represent the network of local contact points called OpenEye. We have, let's say, a supporting website called openeye.net, which provides, from our experience, further guidelines, checklists, experience reports, and background information, which we can just recommend you to consult before or during your participation in the program. And of course, we are happy to receive your questions today, but at any time when you have questions about the program. Yes, this is a little bit my introduction to the program, but as I said, we are very glad that Maurizio Ghisolfi joined us as he is co-founder of the company Profita. I think you can probably better explain than I how you use artificial intelligence in your company. I read that's all about the medical or the pharmaceutical supply chain, but we will hear more later. So, but I think it's a very nice example of this contribution to the digital transformation. But we are very happy that you participated in the program and are available to report a little bit about your experiences and what you would give other potential participants on their way for the program. Well then, Maurizio, I give you the mic.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, maybe I will start a little bit about my company so you can understand what we are doing. I'm originally from Italy, but now I'm living in Luxembourg. And I'm one of the co-founder of Profiter. That is an Italian company, and we work especially in pharmaceutical industry in the supply chain. And we are applying artificial intelligence and machine learning to predict the future consumption and demand of medicine and medical devices. So we are helping pharmaceutical producer or distributors to manage their stock automatically. So what we are avoiding is our stockouts, so the situation in which hospitals or pharmacies don't have the medicine for the patient, or at the other end, we are lowering the average stock of the pharmaceutical industry or distributors so they can save a lot of money, and also it's easier for them to manage the medicine and so on. So that's what we are doing. And I started this company like 2.5 years ago, just after my Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs experience. That it was during the first COVID-19 pandemic. And so I spent 6 or 7 months in Paris. I had this exchange with Laurent, that was my host entrepreneur, and Laurent was one of the founder of the one of the main acceleration program for startup in Paris. So he had like an extensive experience in the startup and innovation world, and so for me it was like completely, let's say, life-changing experience, because it was my first time talking with people in innovation and startup and so on. And so I really discovered what that was really interesting for me. In particular, was like an acceleration program only for a travel startup. So you can imagine during the COVID-19 was like really a challenging period for them. So also Laurent was really working with his team, try to really help this startup, and so it was really helpful and was really inspiring also for me. And so they also give me a lot of stuff to do, so it was really nice. And also I think during this that period I was the only one during the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur that continues to stay abroad, because the other young entrepreneur decided to came back to their home. But thanks to Laurent, that was like really nice to me, with me. So I decided to stay in Paris, and so I spent 4 months closed in my little house in Paris. and so I think my experience was, let's say, a little bit strange in terms of planning, because it was like not a normal time. So also in terms of finding a new apartment and an accommodation was really strange, because the market was completely down for the pandemic. So what I can share about my experience in general, because uh, after my experience in Paris, I lived in London, in two other places in Italy, like Bologna and Milano, and then I lived in Berkeley, so in California. Now I'm living in Luxembourg. So what I find out that when you travel a lot, for me, um, it's really important, the network. So usually I start finding, let's say, new apartment or possibility through my network. So now I think, for me, one of the main tool is LinkedIn. So usually I try to find some shared connection with people in a certain place in the world. And usually I start with Italian people, because I think it's easier for us to have like a connection. So what I can suggest, maybe if you decide to do your Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur in a specific city in Europe or abroad, maybe you can start with some research on LinkedIn. If you have some shared connection, especially maybe someone from your home country, and ask some information, maybe where it's easier to find a new house, which are the areas that are most, let's say, cool to live in, and so on. And then afterwards, you can start. I started with Airbnb. I was like, I booked for 1 week Airbnb, and then try to find a new place once I was in the city, because in France it's not so easy to find a contract if you don't have some contact in France. So it depends on the country. Um, and then I think every host entrepreneur is really open to help you to find some information, or to help you, and so on. And then for me, I think one other thing that was really helpful for me, it was trying to leverage the host entrepreneur network, also in terms of let's say, events or other activities that you can do in the city, not only related to your work, because maybe you just have an idea of your future, let's say, business, but you want to share and to have some other ideas with other entrepreneurs. So I think also going to some events, it's really cool. And so for me, after the first period of the closing of the pandemic, I started to join a lot of events, and trying to meet people from all over the world, but in Paris, related to the business I wanted to do. So we already had this idea on the pharmaceutical industry, and so I started to try to find people like-minded in some events, and so on. Uh, Another, I don't know.
Maurizio, maybe just, sorry to interrupt a second. I just want to encourage everybody to ask questions, maybe using the chat. I also wrote a little message in the chat, so please feel free to ask questions. We will later have time for extra questions, but maybe you can already use the chat to ask questions to us, Simon and myself, and of course also to Maurizio. But just one thing, as you already mentioned about how you interacted in events, and you mentioned also your host entrepreneur. I'm just curious, before you continue, how you found your entrepreneurs? Was it in the database, or was it in one of the events you just mentioned? So that would also be, I would be curious.
Okay, so I found my entrepreneur. It was inside of the platform. So when you are accepted into the platform, you have like a long list of possible host entrepreneur, and so I started to do some research related to. The first one was in the, let's say, in the space of or market that I was interested in. So it was like a startup and innovation, and so of course, Laurent was one of among them. And the other one was trying to do some filters related to the cities. So I already had in mind some cities in Europe that I wanted to go. So they were Berlin, Paris, and Amsterdam. So I started to do some research in people in innovation and startup in these three cities. And then so I had like this short list. And then I started to do some was like some interviews, some online call with them. And then let's say I think it was like really a good connection with with Laurent, because he was trying to find new young people to find out, let's say, new international connection and also new ideas. So inside his acceleration program, they were always focusing on the travel sector, and Paris is, I think, one of the main point of travel in the world. And so they were really focusing in Paris, and they didn't have so much connection with the other maybe acceleration program for travel startup in all over the world. So he was trying to find someone to create this bridge and this connection. And so he also spent 2 years of his life during the young age in Italy. So we had like this connection. And so I was really happy to try to have this, let's say, this experience together with Laurent. And so, yeah, it was really amazing for me. And today was like 4 years ago, I think, 4 or 5. And today we always exchange some WhatsApp or some photos. And every time that I came back to France, to Paris, I meet him. And also when he came to Italy, we met. And so it's really was really a good connection with him.
No, that's great, especially if it's really prolonging or longing for a number of years, and that you can keep the contact, and that's of course the best case we can imagine. There is one question in the chat, so maybe I use the opportunity already, Mauricio, to ask you that. Moni asks, how did you schedule your work, both with the host entrepreneur as with your own project? I think that's something, of course, many participants experience, especially if you have founded your company already, but also if you are in the starting phase. It's always a combination of you want to provide something to the host, but of course needs also to look after your own business development. Yeah, how have you managed this challenge during a stay abroad?
Okay, so for me, Profiter was only like an idea. So we didn't create the company yet when I was in Paris. And then I think I really want to stress about this, because I think I was really happy because Laurent was really amazing. So from the first time, from the first call, we were trying to, let's say, create a plan for us to divide the working hours for, let's say, for him and for me. And also I think it was really a good connection between us, because he was really expert in accelerating and the startup. So for me it was really helpful working with him. So for me it was like 50% I think during the week, but we didn't have like a strict schedule. But it was most having like a transparent exchange with us. And so maybe I spent 2 or 3 days during the week working only for Laurent company. So it was really not strict schedule. But yeah, and also they gave me the possibility to participate in all their masterclass, workshop, and so on. So it was not really Laurent involved in spending his time together with me, but was me together with his team and learning. So it was really like an exchange and a connection with them. So I think I was really lucky. I think every host entrepreneur is really open to leave the new entrepreneur the possibility to work as much as he can in his startup. But I think it's when you start in the beginning, you create a plan, and I think in the plan creation is the moment where you can share with him or her also what you expect from them. I think it's really important because I think it's really a pair communication. It's not only you providing time for the other entrepreneur, but it's like an exchange. So I think you should also mention what are your expectations. So for me, was really trying to understand what is like a startup and how to create a business. And so that's why they gave me a lot of possibility to participate in the workshops and master classes and so on. So I think also sharing your expectation is really important.
No, good that you say that. And I think it's also confirming our experience that expectation management, or however you would like to call it, is really crucial in the beginning. And the better you invest in that, the more you will benefit later from this time investment, because then you avoid then conflicts which are maybe resulting from different expectations, which may not maybe as communicated as they should be in the beginning. However, there's another question in the chat asking, of course, as you said, you hadn't started your business yet, so it was still an idea when you were abroad. And Moni also want to know how much time it took you to take your idea into practice, and really then when you returned, or when you, in that case, you don't really return, but when you finished your stay with your host, yeah, how was the process until you actually founded Profiter then?
Okay, I don't really remember, but could be like 10 months later, I think, when we created the company, because we understood and we decided to create a company that was like a startup model, so really into tech and innovation. So we were trying to find in the beginning really a niche problem, and also trying to find a way to create like a scalable solution. So I think it depends on the business idea that you have. So for us was like yeah, I think could be from 8 to 10 months of planning and to create the idea. And also because we now we started in three. We were three co-founders, uh, but we know from the beginning that we needed to raise some capital. And so also for us was like try to create a plan that could be also interesting for some investors. So I think, yeah, 8 to 10 months of planning, and then we started to have the first clients, and so that's why we created and we established the company. And the company, we created the company in Italy, and so yeah, it's like 2 years and a half ago. And in the beginning, we started in three, and we raised some little money from one company, one private company, and from an angel investor. And then we started to really try to scale and to find new customers. But I think it depends on the business idea that you have. So if you want to do something, let's say, I don't know how to say, like simple, you can start whenever you want. But if you want to create a company that could be really scalable and so on, you need to spend time to planning. And maybe if you want to raise some capital, you have to create some business model that is really into numbers. And so yeah, it depends on the type of company, I think.
Yes. And also from the chat, following up that question is if you can give examples how your exchange with your host has helped you in the end to implement your ideas, and or other aspects during the time which you remember, which are examples which were important for your later business development. So if something more concrete situations during the exchange, if you still remember, as it's already a number of time ago.
Yeah, of course. So let's say my work inside the Laurent company I was really part of the team. And so a team of an acceleration program usually try to create like it could be 3 or 6 months acceleration program. So they select some startup, and they were vertical on travel tech. And then they try to, let's say, create some content valuable for the startup that could be like master classes or maybe one-to-one with some mentors, and so on. And so in the really beginning of the acceleration program, usually it's like more theoretical information and so on. And then they try to start to help you in really create some business cases and so on. So maybe you have like also some introduction to some potential clients or potential customers. And also they provide also information and help if you want to raise money. So they provide some introduction to some investors and also help you in create your pitch deck, your financials, and so on. So I was really part of the team trying to help startup. And so for me was really helpful because when I was, let's say, working for Laurent and together with Laurent, I was also understand what's like what are the needs of a startup. And so if you want to raise money, you have to do your pitch deck, your financial planning, and then you need some interest to the investor. You have to understand how to pitch in 30 seconds, in 3 minutes, and so on. And so I was in the part of the, let's say, the acceleration team, and so I was trying to help them. And then so I started to understand, also as a part of a founder, what will be, let's say, my future step if I want to raise money, and so on. So for me, it was really helpful. So in my, let's say, spare time, and also in the time that I was working for my company, I was trying to apply all the information that I was seeing during the acceleration program. So I think, yeah, for me it was really a match because I spent a lot of time to try to find the proper host entrepreneur for me. So for me it was like participating in an acceleration program as a founder, but let's say for free, and also working for them, because usually when you are a founder, when you participate in an acceleration program, or you have to pay or you have to give some equity of your startup. So it's like paying to be part of an acceleration program. But for me was being part of an acceleration program, or be, let's say, part of the team. And so I also was really lucky to have access to all the mentors because I was also part of the team. So I really had the opportunity to talk with them and to have one-to-one with them. So yeah, for me it was really amazing. And some other concrete examples was, I don't know, they have like a lot of masterclass in some verticals. So how to reach, I don't know, product market fit, how to create the UX and UI for your digital application, and so on. And so for me, it was really amazing and perfect.
Yeah. Wow, this sounds really good. But nevertheless, if you look back on your Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs business exchange, is there anything, if there's any, which you would do differently now if you would start your stay with the host entrepreneur again from the planning phase, implementation, follow-up? Is there anything where you say, well, if I now have the chance to do it again, and of course, Erasmus for Entrepreneurs only allows one time to participate as a new entrepreneur. Of course, we encourage people to become host entrepreneurs later, of course. But nevertheless, in case you would have this opportunity, is there anything where you say, now this is something I have learned and experienced that, so that I would do it differently this time?
Okay, so I think for me, it's a little bit difficult to reply to this question because, I had a lot of plans before starting my Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur, and then COVID hit. So it was, yeah, every plan was completely changed. So it's really difficult for me to answer because I spent 4 months working together with Laurent remotely, and also with the girls. Was like 4 girls working with his team. And so we spent a lot of time working remotely on video call. So of course, I would like to have, let's say, more physical, let's say, connection with them, to spend more time, also maybe spare time going out together and to create really this connection. But it was, let's say, impossible during that time. And so my suggestion is really to try to spend a lot of time with your host entrepreneur, and of course, if he or her is open, also to spend quality time after work together, because I think you can learn a lot from other people. But yeah, for me, sometimes it was really impossible because we were at home. And the other one, I think, was for me really related in the for the let's say the work environment. So in the beginning, was difficult for me to understand what was like an acceleration program. Now that I know, I think one of the most valuable thing is the let's say the network, and also the exchange with your peers, so other founders. So maybe create more connection with other people and founders, so your peers, during the acceleration program. But I think this one is really related to my working environment. Maybe for other environment could be different. Yeah, and also yeah, for me, I was really lucky because I was in Paris. I think could be one of the most beautiful place in the world. And so the other advice is really try to have also travel in the city, try to explore, make some friends. And so I think really create this maybe the Erasmus environment that is more typical for the university and Erasmus. But this is also an Erasmus program. So also I was trying to participate in the Erasmus aperitivo in Paris, and also other things. So it's really like a big community. So it's really nice to meet other people from all over the world, thanks to this environment, this Erasmus community.
Thanks a lot, Maurizio. And just would like to ask for a final question, if there's any. So just when you still have Maurizio and us with you, so you can take the chat, or you can raise your hand, and Simon can give you the mic.
Yeah, I can also maybe I can type it in the chat. I can share my LinkedIn profile. That I think it's
That would be perfect. As
yeah.
you also mentioned how important LinkedIn has been during your exchange, that would fit very well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
if someone has some like private question, I'm really open. And yeah, I think LinkedIn is really an important tool if you want to be an entrepreneur, because I think network is one of the most important thing. And yeah, LinkedIn is like your digital network, so I think it's really important. And so if you find also that I'm connected with, I don't know, some entrepreneur, and you want some intros, yeah, make yeah, just send me a message and I can do it.
okay, well then, thanks again, Mauricio. Thanks everybody who has organized in the background this webinar of OpenAI, and we hope a lot of people will follow your footsteps. So that we have the next 15 years of Erasmus Young Entrepreneurs with even more growth than we had in the last 15 years. And yeah, I wish everybody a great day and all the best. And I'm looking forward to see you online or face to face and at one time. All right, then, thank you.